on their own. The first little elephant built a small wooden shack, and one day there was a knock on the door.
Hello? Who's there? It's the Big Bad Mouse. Open it up once. Is anybody there? Let me in. Let me in. Someone seemed to have knocked on my door, but whoever it was, they seemed to have gone away.
Well, the Big Bad Mouse was frustrated, so he wrote a note and slipped it under the elephant's door. It read,
Squeak, squeak, squeak. I'm the Big Bad Mouse. I'll rip up your garden. I'll tear down your house. I'll tug in your tail. I'll pull in your ears. I'm biting you, and the worst of your fears.
well, later that day, the elephant found the note.
A Big Bad Mouse! Oh no! I've seen mouse before. It sounds very scary. I imagine that it has big, sharp, razor teeth. And big, huge yellow eyes. Help! There's a Big Bad Mouse! Before it comes back to my house, I must run.
So the elephant ran through the wooden shack, tripping over tables and bumping into chairs, and the terrified elephant left through the back door and ran all the way to the second elephant's house. Now, the second elephant lived in a brick house. It was larger than the first elephant's wooden shack. It also had a doorbell, which the first rang.
Ring dong. Well, who's there? I'm so scared. There's a Big Bad Mouse on the loose. Can I stay at your house, please? Please. A mouse? I've never seen a mouse before, but I imagine it must have a long tail and sharp claws. Come inside, quickly, and lock the door behind you.
Well, a few minutes passed, and the two elephants sat in frightened silence. But suddenly, the doorbell rang.
Ding dong. Who could it be? I'm not answering it. Don't look at me, I'm not answering it either.
Well, the Big Bad Mouse kept ringing the bell, but nobody answered. Finally, he grew frustrated and slipped a note under the door. It read,
Squeak, squeak, squeak. I'm the Big Bad Mouse. I'll rip up your garden. I'll tear down your house. I'll tug in your tail. I'll pull in your ears. I'm biting you, and the worst of your fears. Oh no, this is terrifying. Now the Big Bad Mouse has come to my house. What will we do? Where will we go? There's a gigantic, frightening, fierce mouse on the loose. Run! We must run for our lives.
well, the two terrified elephants stumbled out of the house, tangling up their legs and tripping over one another. They left through the back door of the house, and they didn't stop running until they arrived at the third elephant's house. Now, the third elephant had an enormous mansion. It had a long driveway and a swimming pool. The two elephants rang the doorbell. Bong, 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 bong. Bong, 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 bong. And James the butler answered the door. Now, as soon as he opened the door, they passed him, waving their arms wildly.
It's horrible. It's terrifying. Help us. Call for help. Call the police. Call the army. You look at yourselves, both of you. Now, look at the mouse you're so frightened of. A mouse! A mouse? Why didn't you say so? I've never seen a mouse before, but I imagine it would be humongous, larger than this mansion. I imagine it might have sealed and breathed fire.
Well, the three elephants huddled in fear and remained very still, listening with extreme care. And after a few minutes, the doorbell rang. Dong, 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 dong. Bong, 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 bong.
Go answer it, James. Why not, Master Elephant? It's a mouse, James. A humongous, terrifying, fire-breathing mouse. Don't be ridiculous. Mice are tiny, furry creatures that scurry about and eat seeds and berries.
Well, James went and opened the door. The three elephants were so frightened now that their eyes were popping out and their ears stood straight up from their heads.
Well, what have we here? A little tiny mouse. Could you please deliver a message to the elephants? Please tell them. Squeak, squeak, squeak. I'm the Big Bad Mouse. I'll rip up their gardens. I'll tear down their house. I'll tug on their tails. I'll pull in their ears and might leave you in the worst of their fears. Elephants, come here. You must face your foe. I must say, he's not especially scary.
Well, the three elephants walked very nervously toward the door. Doo, 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 doo. The first and second elephants were looking over the shoulder of the third elephant, and the elephants stared at the doorway, but no one appeared to be there besides James the butler. So they looked to the left, to the right, they looked up, and then they looked down, and there on the doorstep was the tiny little mouse.
I am so small! We've never seen a mouse before. You're really not frightening at all. You're so huge, I didn't know you looked this way. Eat elephants!
away, and at last the elephants had seen that a mouse was very small. They were never frightened of mice again, and at last the mouse had learned that elephants are very large. The mouse never again threatened to rip up the elephant's garden or tear down, and everyone lived happily ever